and welcome to everybody that is joining us. We are excited to have everybody on here for this summer call. We're going to just wait for a few folks to start joining in, and we'll get started probably just a couple minutes after 6:30 to let everybody have a chance to hop on. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type those in the chat box, and then we will be available at the very end for questions as well. So.
Manager. I am a manager.
All right. Hello, everybody. We're so excited you're joining us tonight. We're going to give folks just a couple of minutes to continue to hop on, and then we will get started with our summer season meeting. Anytime you guys have questions, feel free to type those in the question and answer or in the chat, whichever works easier for you, and we will be addressing those. We'll also have some time at the very end of the meeting to answer some questions, so you guys can go off mute to ask questions at that point as well. All right, everybody, welcome aboard. We are excited to have everybody here. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. I appreciate your patience. We are going to be sharing this to Facebook Live, just so you guys are all aware, so that folks can hop onto that as well. So if you guys, again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put those in the chat for us, and we will be addressing those as we go along. And then we will be able to stay on for some questions afterwards as well. So just hang tight for probably just 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we will get rolling. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. I want to just take a minute to welcome everybody to our 2021 summer season meeting, and we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of housekeeping items before I turn things over to Megan Scremin, our president and CEO. If you're just joining us, this is a webinar format. So at this point, you guys are all muted. We will be able to unmute you afterwards. So if you have some specific questions, you have a couple of options. You can put them in the questions and answers. You can put them in the chat. You can also stay on till the very end in order to answer any questions at that point. So without wasting any more time, I know there's a lot of excitement about this, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Megan Scremin.
Hi, everybody. So happy to see so many athletes and family members and coaches on here tonight. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully everybody on Facebook Live is excited for summer season as we are. Susan and the team will go through all of the details, but we have, for those that are participating in our spring sports, thank you so much. We hope you're having a great season. We cannot wait for our two state summer games presented by Spectrum. And then we're very excited to be kicking off our summer season, of course, with this call and then carrying it throughout the season. I think everybody will be excited to see that with each season, we're getting closer to what our old normal looks like. And I think you'll all be happy to see that throughout this. So thank you again for all of the patience that you've had with us up until now and your continued patience through this season. Of course, we want to make sure that we're offering as much as we possibly can to our athletes and families and coaches, while of course ensuring everybody's safety. That is always our first priority. So just want to say thank you. I'm excited for the season. As always, you obviously know all of your regional managers and Susan, but if there's ever anything that I can do, please never hesitate to reach out. I always love chatting with athletes and family members and volunteers and coaches. So thank you all so much, and we're excited for the season. Take it away, Susan.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much, Megan. Well, we will go ahead and get started. I'll preface this with, bear with me. I've been on Zoom meetings and done these calls so much you think I'd have it down, but for whatever reason, there always tends to be some technical difficulties. So if you guys can just bear with me, we'll go ahead and get started. So we are on to our summer season. It seems like the years moved so fast, but here we are. Our 2021 summer season will consist of bocce, cycling, golf, softball, and tennis. There are a few things I want everybody to keep in mind. Obviously, we will still be having SOCO as well as COVID guidelines, and those are going to be enforced at all levels. I'm going to go ahead and cover a few of those now. The first thing is that masks are being worn at all times. I'm going to table elaborating on that till our next slide for now. We have also shared some sport-specific COVID best practices for you, so we appreciate everyone being able to follow those. At any time you are at a facility guideline and their guidelines are perhaps more strict or more strict than ours, I'll say at this point, we'll need you to follow those facility guidelines as well. We are opening up outside practices to a maximum of 25 people and inside practices to a maximum of 15 people. The great part about our summer season is that all these sports take place outside. So hopefully we'll be able to get our groups being a little bit bigger now that we're able to practice outside. Our spectators also must abide by the rules for each event and sport. Just because they're spectators doesn't mean they're free and clear of all the procedures that we need to do. And we at SOCO are going to be able to provide PPE kits for you as well. And I'll touch on that in a little bit also. So just to kind of jump off of that, as Megan said, we're back in action. We've had some spring track events. We've got a couple of state summer games coming up this weekend. That'll wrap up our spring season. And that's only possible because teams and athletes and coaches, you guys are following our guidelines that we have in place. If that wasn't the case, we probably would not be practicing. So I'll take a step there and thank you guys for that. Thank you for the extra efforts. We know that coaching, there's so much on your plate with coaching already, but add in the extra COVID paperwork and following social distancing and the masks and all those pieces. We know it's a lot to ask of every one of you, but you have all stepped up and done such an amazing job that we are able to offer events now. And I'll get into what we're offering in the summer in a little bit, but I do want to touch on our mask guidance. Our mask guidance will be implemented at all SOCO activities. That includes practices, team functions, events, and competitions. And through our mask guideline, it is required through Special Olympics International, as well as for insurance and liability purposes, that everyone that is at one of these practices, a team function, an event, or a competition will be wearing a mask at all times. We are continuously following up with SOI to see any changes on that. And as we start to hear from them, if there are any changes in the restrictions on that, we will absolutely let you guys know. But as of this point, anyone, athletes, coaches, volunteers, unified partners, spectators, if you've had COVID, if you haven't had COVID, if you're vaccinated, if you're not vaccinated, everybody has to wear a mask at this time, at all times. Okay. So that is something we really, I know that's a lot we put on you guys, especially with so many changes coming out in all the different states and counties and everything, but we really need to ask you to enforce that mask wearing policy at all times with your teams. If you're having issues with athletes who are not wanting to follow that, please reach out to your regional managers or myself, and we will absolutely support you in that endeavor. So please just keep that in mind. We're only able to do what we're able to do because you guys are following what you guys are following. Okay, great. And next up, sorry, my screen seems to not want to be moving now. Great. Now we will move on to our resources and guidelines that we will be able to offer. We will continue to offer you guys plenty of resources and guidelines in order to offer safe and a safe competition and a safe environment for all of our teams. That's our biggest priority right now, is to really make sure everyone is safe and competing and staying healthy. We're very excited to be back out. Trust me, we would love to have our big giant events as normal, but I think we need to also make sure that we still need to ensure that we're being safe for our athletes, for you guys, for families, for everyone in the entire SoCo family and community at this point. We are still recommending that individuals with high risk really just pay attention to those high risk factors that we have listed on the COVID participation risk form and code of conduct. And we do have a COVID resource page as well on our website, so you guys can check that out at any time. That'll have all of our guidelines, all of our forms, everything will be under that as well. The required COVID paperwork process. I know that's all let out a collective sigh because we have to talk about paperwork. Like, I know we're all done and over with paperwork. However, again, this is another piece that's extremely important for us to be able to stay competing. Every participant will need to fill out a risk form and code of conduct per person, a communicable disease waiver per person, and then every week anyone that's at the practice will need to sign in on the team sign-in sheet, and that is the time where you'll be taking temperatures as well. If you've competed in the spring season and you have filled out these forms, we will be following up with you on individuals. If there's athletes that competed in the spring season and already did these, we'll follow up with you on a list of what these are. And we appreciate your patience with that. We're still working through a few things. If you're not sure and you just want to if you guys are getting ready to have that first practice and you're itching to get going, err on the side of caution and just have everyone fill them out. And then get those to your regional manager so we can make sure that we've got those squared away for once we get into competition as well. Okay. I'll take a pause there, and anyone monitoring the chat, did any questions come through that we want to go ahead and answer before we move on in regards to COVID or any of those pieces?
Not yet. I think we're good, but understanding everyone's got the process down now. So if you've been competing for a little bit or coaching, you've gotten the paperwork process. That was the only comment in the chat. Thanks. Perfect.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully, eventually we'll be able to decrease some of that and you'll have less of the process to worry about. Okay. Next up, I just want to remind everybody that we do have a brand new, I believe it's not quite so brand new. It's been out for about a year now. A level 1 coaching orientation program. This is a one-time training, which is required for everyone to renew their Class A form. If you have folks that are new coaches, they will be going through this as well when they're doing their Class A form. It's an educational tool for our new coaches and a refresher for our experienced coaches. Our team put a great deal of time and effort into this, and we think it's something that will really benefit all of our coaches. We give a Special Olympics Colorado overview. We talk about coaching athletes. We cover unified sports, competition, as well as health, wellness, and fitness. On that point, we also know that whatever we create isn't the end all be all best thing in the entire world. So if you have feedback on this course, if you're a coach that's been around for a while and you went through this course and you're thinking, you know, I really wish I would have been told about this, or this, please share that with Jenny Montoya. She's very open to the feedback, and we love your feedback in order to make all the coach trainings that we offer more effective for everybody as well. All right, I think I'm going to turn things over to Adrian Mora at this point. Adrian, are you on and able to touch base on this part? Give me 1 second. Oh, I am. Hey, Ben T, if you're on, would you be able to unmute Adrian to be able to talk about this part? Since you're the host now.
Yeah. Let me take a peek here.
That's all right. I'll go ahead and get started. As all of you know, everyone will need an updated Class A form and athlete application, and those are required prior to each season. You guys should have received your lists from your regional managers at this point with expiration dates on athletes that have participated in 2019. Now, again, we pulled from 2019, so that was a couple years ago. That might not be the most accurate list for you with your team. If you've got additional folks that you're adding, just shoot your regional manager an email so that we can go ahead and get that squared away. Anyone that's new on your team will need an application. So at that first practice, if you've got new athletes or new coaches or new unified partners, please get them this information immediately so that we don't have to run into we're 2 days before the state tournament and we have a softball unified partner that maybe isn't going to be able to play, so the team might have to forfeit. We don't want to have to make that decision. We don't want you guys to be put in that position. So the farther ahead of the Class A's and athlete applications that we can be, the easier it makes, I think, the season for everybody. Just for your information, if there are any major health conditions for any athletes that are not cleared by their physicians, have those athletes renew their applications before resuming sports participations. You guys might not have seen some of these athletes for a year or more, and there might have been a lot of changes. So if it's something you guys feel more comfortable asking them to get that athlete application re-updated, please go ahead and do that as well.
Susan, I'm on now. You want to kick it over to me?
Great.
All right. Next, we're covering here. So just for semantics' sake, the athlete medical that we've traditionally called the medical is going to be called the athlete application moving forward. You'll hear that referenced by your regional managers, all the program staff. Reference it as the athlete application moving forward, and no longer use the athlete medical. It's still a medical, but there's a full application process tied to just the physical examination form that you're accustomed to. So we're going to be utilizing the term athlete application. Please delete and throw away any paper applications that you may be holding on to. So those old paper applications that you guys have been sharing with your teams, those are no longer in circulation and are obsolete. The athlete application is fully online. That is our recommended path forward for the rest of you and your athletes to complete the athlete application. So please direct all athlete applications to the online athlete application. If you require assistance in completing the athlete application, the athlete help desk is available to answer any calls or emails from your families, and we are able to assist, support, walk you through the process of completing the application, and support with any paper application needs on a case-by-case basis. If there is an individual who doesn't have access to the internet, has difficulty completing the application online, those are all case-by-case scenarios where the athlete help desk would be able to support. And that's that medical@specialolympicsco.org handle. Again, that's medical@specialolympicsco.org. Okay. Pause there. I see a bunch of questions coming in on the chat. Anything that I should reference, Susan?
Adrian, one question on how the doctor fills out the medical. I'm trying to answer the rest as we go.
The physical examination form is available online. So when you go to the athlete application on our website, you're able to download and print off the physical examination form that the doctor is able to complete. They also are able to complete it virtually if you have access to a computer at your visit. So both are accessible, but if you have any direct questions or are looking to troubleshoot that, you can work with that athlete help desk on those case-by-case scenarios. So here's some information on the athlete help desk. So our help desk team has asked that we share that there is a high volume of help desk requests that comes through on their end. So to be patient with them as they facilitate and field all those different requests. The help desk is designed to help with any expiration date questions. So as you receive your paperwork and see that you have an upcoming expiration date in 2 months, if you feel that that isn't reflective of when you submitted your last medical, that's a specific conversation that they would be able to help you out with. They can help facilitate with the sharing of past applications for both coaches and for athlete families if you need access to that. And then they'll also able to help with training and technical assistance with how to field the online athlete application as well, and how to support you in the completion of the athlete application. Would want to emphasize that during the busy season would be the final month leading up to a sport competition, so our state competitions. That would be the highest volume of traffic that they do receive. So there is a lag in response time. So I want to emphasize that you should take that into consideration as you're going through the process, and reach out to them in a timely manner. If you wait till the last minute to complete your athlete application, there's a good chance that they may not be able to support you in fielding any questions that you may have if you run up into that final 1 month window. All right, next slide. All right, so these are just issues that they may be encountering with technology. You as a coach or an athlete, they understand that there are technological barriers and limitations that all of us may have in trying to access the online athlete application and just internet as a whole as we continue to move to a more virtual environment. So as you have those issues or run into challenges or obstacles along the way, please know that we at Special Olympics, our athlete help desk, and then also your regional managers are here to support you and field any calls, emails, meet with you in person, support you with the facilitation of a volunteer who might be able to help out, or a coach who might be able to lend their hand to help facilitate and work you through any obstacles or challenges that you're facing with technology. So if you do run into those, please do reach out. We are happy to support. All right. And I think this is back to you, Susan, but do we have any other questions on athlete applications before we move on? All right.
How often does an athlete have to, so every 3 years, an athlete would need to complete the athlete application along with a medical?
That's correct. And that also applies to our Class A background checks for coaches and unified partners. Once you've completed that, you are certified for 3 years as well. All right, Susan, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adrian, for covering the neck. That was the second most riveting part. The COVID stuff was like the first riveting part of the conversation. And that was number two. Now I feel like the part we've all been waiting for. We're excited to get into what's happening in the summer season. And just to kind of take a step back to those athlete medicals and Class A's, athletes, partners, and coaches will not be allowed to be at our summer competitions without a valid Class A application as well as a valid athlete application. So you've got your list, start now. Even if you're not sure if people are going to participate, just have them do it because they're probably going to get going in the fall season again or something to that extent. So if you've got someone that's questionable and they're not sure if they're going to participate in the season, I would encourage them to go ahead and get that application handled so that they can be ready to go when they are ready to go. All right, I want to go ahead and touch base on our website for all of our competitions moving forward. I'm going to pull that up real quick. This was going to be our new competition page. The website is being revamped, and so we appreciate everyone's patience as we're kind of going through a little bit of transitions, but it looks fantastic, and we really hope it's going to be something that is very functional for all of you guys. So this will be our competitions page. Pending what season you're looking for information for, you might need to scroll down. The current season, the most recent season that we're in is always going to be at the top. So right now we're still in our spring season. And we've got all of our spring information here. If you hop on here and you're looking for summer pieces, you're just going to go ahead and scroll past this until you come down here and you see the summer season. And that is our summer season will span from June 14th to August 24th. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, our summer season is going to cover bocce, cycling, golf, softball, and tennis. I'm going to touch base on a few of these details as we get moving down here. Right up here, we've got our seasonal interest form. If you click here, that'll take you right over to our seasonal interest form for the summer season. Kudos to those of you that have already participated and filled this out. We have quite a few responses already. If you're a coach and you've got a team, please fill this out. It's about 5 to 10 minutes. We're just asking some information from you so that we can communicate with you easier. Are you a new team? What your team name is, what region you're with, the sports you're going to do, age groups. If you've got room to add people to your roster, if we have new athletes, is one of the questions. There's another question. We also had some great success this past spring with adding some youth teams to existing practices. They kind of just piggyback on the back end of it, so to speak. SoCo has been able to provide the coaches for that, but we'd look to some of you guys to mentor. So if you have the interest, the space, the facility to be able to do that, if you check yes on that, we can follow up on some more information with that. We'd like to know your practice times and dates. We understand that might not be, you might not know that yet, but as best as you can say, please share that with you. And then just some housekeeping items in regards to getting the COI for your practice facility, as well as just reiterating that you're going to follow the COVID procedures, including masks at all times. And then in order to assist you, if you're interested, we will be able to provide you with some additional PPE kits for your teams, whether that's signs to post at practice, whether that's sign-in sheets and waivers, thermometers, additional masks, kind of all those pieces. Once you fill this form out, we'll reach out to you and be able to get those items out to you. Okay. And then just your thought as of right now about the summer season, if you'd be interested in attending competitions or if you will prefer just to train on your own. So if you guys can take a few minutes to do that, that would be fantastic as well. Okay. Next up, on to the summer season. As I mentioned, it's June 14th to August 21st, not to June 21st, because that's not a very long season. But here's the good news. We are going to plan to offer all aspects of all sports this season. So that includes bocce, singles, doubles, and team, tennis, singles, doubles, and skills, cycling, the tandem races, golf, we'll be offering that in the full aspects of our unified events. And finally, softball will be one of our first team sports that we'll be offering for the full season. So you guys can start to prepare for that and be aware of that. We did make some changes to what the summer season is going to look like. We will not be having any regional competitions. There are a couple reasons behind this. Kind of the main reason is really just due to timing. we're still not allowing overnight travel. So in order for us to provide state quality competitions in each region, we are going to have to start those a little bit early in August. So just kind of putting a regional in there, we felt like might be rushing you guys to either be ready to be at your event or kind of whatever that looks like. So we're just gonna take that stressor piece out. We are going to offer a state tournament in the Denver Northeast area. We're going to offer a state tournament on the Western Slope, and we're going to offer a state tournament at the Southeast event in the Southeast area as well. If you're interested in hosting inter-squad events or scrimmages, maybe there's a softball team that you like to play against here and there, you guys can go ahead and do that on your own, and the Special Olympics staff will support you in that as well, okay? So as I mentioned, we are going to be hosting 3 state tournaments. So we're coming back with not 1, not 2, but 3 state tournaments this time. Again, on August 7th, we'll be in the Denver and Northeast area. We're still determining bocce and softball and tennis at this point. Our cycling will take place where we've always been at the Arapahoe County Fairgrounds. And our golf will take place at the Aurora Hills Golf Course where we've been in the past as well, with the tee times beginning at noon. Just a note on that, our Southeast teams will be coming up to compete in that event as well, just because it's kind of a small number. And it's just a day trip for them to come on up there. Moving on to the Western Slope on August 12th and 14th, that's when we're going to be offering those events. August 12th, we're going to be offering cycling at the Grand Junction Motor Speedway. Michelle Peters has made a great relationship with them, and it sounds like an amazing venue, so we're looking forward to that. We'll also be offering bocce and softball at Columbine Park, golf at Lincoln Park Golf Course, and tennis at Colorado Mesa University. And finally, the August 21st event, the Southeast event, bocce, cycling, softball, and tennis will all take place at the Air Force Academy. And again, golfers from the Southeast will go up to the Denver Northeast event as well. Entries are going to be due July 26th. That's going to be a hard deadline. I know it might be tough to get scores in at that point, and that's okay. What I want from you at that point is the entry forms to be filled out with names and events that everyone's participating in. I'm okay if scores come later. In order for us to make sure that we can give you enough time to really be able to get medicals, if you haven't done so, and every now and then there's some that slip through the cracks, we want to be able to give you plenty of time to get those athlete applications squared away. All right. Moving on, just a few best practices for some of our sports. Similar to items that we shared last year, we just ask for bocce that each player should retrieve their own balls throughout the match as they're playing at practice. You can feel free to place cones or markers down to ensure there's still social distancing. Sanitize the Polina between each set, and then sanitize the bocce sets between each match as well. If you have more than one court, please try to keep those as best you can 6 feet apart. Something new and exciting we're hoping to offer for bocce this year is going to be a masters bocce division. So we have been working with some of our coaches to gather some more information on how we best can do that. So we've come up with a few different options of whether that's a shorter court, a lighter set of bocce balls, kind of whatever that looks like. If you are interested in that, if you've got athletes that are that 40, 45 age range and over that maybe need a little more assistance in some of the sports, go ahead and email me or share your name in the chat, and we can reach out and touch base on that. But again, that's something new that we're looking to do. So we'd appreciate you working with us to figure out what works best. But we are hoping that by 2022 we'd be able to offer it statewide for everybody as well. Okay. On to cycling, just as a reminder, if you're sharing equipment, make sure things are sanitized between users. And then we do have some cycling resources on there. Some best practices for golf. We do always recommend that you walk. Obviously, for those of you that are coaching that have athletes that do not have a medical reason to be using a cart, we encourage, the walking is the way to go, of course. But if you are utilizing a cart, please have only one person in that cart unless they are from the same household. Again, this is another comment where the course guidelines might be more strict than what we are offering, than what we have. And if that's the case, please make sure you're following those course guidelines. If sharing equipment, I think this is especially for skills, when some folks are sharing more than one club, please be sure that everything is sanitized in between use. And then we do just have some golf resources up here as well for COVID. Moving on to tennis, we would like you guys to try to limit the number of people on each court to allow for social distancing. That'll be athletes, unified partners, coaches. Make sure we have the spectators as outside the courts as possible. And we do want to try to not gather together and break social distance guidelines. And then there are a few return to play tennis guidelines as well that could be helpful for you. Finally, on to softball. This is probably the one that might be the most challenging to make sure it's consistently safe. So we've got a couple of pages here, and if you're having questions on any of these pieces, please reach out to myself or your regional manager. Offering a team sport in softball where there are some kind of close quarters in the dugout can be a little concerning. So we really want to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe. So only people that are on the roster are allowed in the dugout. Please be aware of that. And then we recommend that you maybe designate a volunteer or an additional coach to help with some of the social distancing and COVID protocols as well. The dugout might get a little cramped, so it could be helpful to have a section of the bleachers blocked out for any overflow from that. And then, just make sure all the equipment is spread out on the back of the dugout to encourage that social distancing. Make sure we're not sharing any water coolers, have everyone bring their own water as well. At games, the pre-game plate meeting are restricted just to coaches and umpires, just so we can keep that number low. And then we'll try to eliminate the group meetings and high fives and the post-game handshakes and fist bumps, etc. Okay. Any shared equipment will need to be sanitized prior to the practice. We will provide you with any extra sanitizing, any extra social distancing signs, any extra pieces you might need in order to make sure you can keep everybody safe. Softballs will be sanitized before each game and at half innings. And then we will have hand sanitizers for you to be able to put in the dugout as well. Okay. Before I move on, are there any questions that came up in regards to the sports season, some of the best practices, anything along those lines in the chat?
Be able to re-mention when the Northeast state games are?
Yep, I will just go back to that slide. If you give me 1 second. The Denver and Northeast state games are going to be combined, and that is going to be on August 7th. And just so you guys are aware of the location we're looking for, which is why it's to be determined, we're trying to find somewhere kind of in the middle, not all the way down in Denver. We're trying to find somewhere where it's a little bit of a happy medium for everybody as well. Great. Any other questions? All right. And we'll move along.
Sorry, Susan, the answer, just 2 more came up. We will have printed out best practices for everybody.
Yes, the best practices can be found on our website. If you need copies of best practices, you can go ahead and find, reach out to us. I'm going to hop back over to our website just to show you where they are. We've got our return to practice guidance here, and that's best practices on how to get back into practice. And then our summer sports specific one will be right over here as well. So they are right here. And then I think I realized I stopped scrolling down on our webpage. So I'm going to hop back to this as long as there are not any more questions.
Yep, I think we're good, Susan.
Okay, great. So as I mentioned on our website, you're going to need to scroll past the summer or the spring season to get into the summer season. We've got our seasonal interest form set up here. And then we do have all of the COVID information just right here, right at the top, quick and easy. You can just click on those links and it'll take you right to that. Again, if you would like us to mail you printed copies of this, just make sure you note that on your seasonal interest form. We've got our timeline over here where we've got our 3 Summer Classic state events. Denver in the Northeast will be August 7th. The Western Slope will be August 12th and 14th, and the Southeast will be August 21st. And then we also will have our Summer Classic virtual victory dance. That'll be Saturday, August 21st, and our Summer Classic Champions Highlight Show, which will be Saturday the 28th. Once you come over to this side, again, you'll see that we've got our summer sports best practices as well as our return to play guidelines. And then all of our sports are listed here alphabetically for you with all the resources that you would need. So if I'm a bocce coach, I'm going to come right over here. I'm going to see that there's the entry form, the sample entry form for singles, same thing for doubles and teams. There's a scorecard for you to use, as well as the SOCO rules and the SOI rules as well. And that will be under every sport. Okay. And we'll also have some frequently asked questions down here. So you guys can hop down here if you have anything. And then if there's ever questions, please feel free to reach out to your regional managers or myself, or click here to get us any information. Don't forget about our virtual training library. We still have that up. Our health and wellness team has done an amazing job of updating that and keeping that up to date. So if you're practicing once a week and you think your athletes want a little bit more practice, hop over to the virtual library. It is split out by sports and you can assign a workout to them, okay? We also have SOCO at home opportunities still happening, as well as the virtual wellness challenge. Okay, sorry about that. I skipped that part. I got so excited to tell everybody that we were offering everything that I forgot to talk about the awesome website. So, all right.
One question, Susan,
Yep.
one question just that we got just the panelists, but everybody, just to clarify, softball will be full softball, traditional
Yes,
softball.
correct. Yep, we will be offering full team softball. That will be offered full. Everybody hits off a pitch. We will be offering the modified division that we typically offer, which is athletes. That's typically for athletes of a little bit of a lower ability who might not have as much success hitting from a pitcher where they have the ability to use a tee. And then we will also offer our softball skills as we have in the past. And that information is all up on the website. But yep, we will be offering full head-to-head games. Awesome. And as you're getting ready for your summer season, now that you guys can start thinking about it, we have this amazing promotion taking place with Dick's Sporting Goods. We are able to take part of the Dick's Sporting Goods days from June 11th to June 14th. So at this time, Dick's Sporting Goods is offering 20% off your entire purchase at every Colorado store location from June 11th through the 14th. So if you're interested in that, when the regional managers will send out the recording to this call, as well as a PowerPoint presentation, and they will also include the coupon in that as well. So if you are looking to get some new softballs or an extra set of catcher's equipment in case you have 2 catchers, head on over to Dick's. You get 20% off. That sounded like quite the commercial. But they're super great supporters of us. And I think this is a super great thing they're doing for us. And if we can continue to support them, I think it's a great relationship that we have with Dick's Sporting Goods. On to souvenirs. We will continually have new items coming soon. We will be selling souvenirs at all state events. So we'll have some new items out there, and we look forward to getting back out in front of you guys to be able to sell some of our great new items. Also, you can check out the website. I included that on there if you're interested in checking a few things out. I will say we got a new item, and it's a zip up hoodie that turns into a backpack. And we've started to sell some of those, and those are pretty cool. So we've got some cool things coming down. So we'll be excited to share all those items with you guys at our in-person events again. Next up, I touched a little bit on this, but we will be having our summer season celebrations. We will be having our Champions Highlight Show, which if any of you are not familiar with our Champions Highlight Show, it is, I like to say it's like SportsCenter only better because it's about Special Olympics. We've had a great support from Connor McGahee, who's been our host, and our team has worked amazingly on this to really highlight the athletes and take time to share all the accomplishments that really should be highlighted. We've been able to have now that we're able to have events, we'll start having some post-game interviews and just some things like that on there. So if you've not seen them, check out our YouTube playlist and check those out. But for the summer season, that will be on August 28th at 7 p.m. and we'll air that on Facebook Live and on YouTube. We will ask you guys to feel free to share some photos or videos that you have in a Dropbox link. So we'll share that link with you in this. And then we will be having a victory celebration dance on August 21st. I've got the link to register here so you can feel free to share that with your teams. Opening ceremonies, young athletes and healthy athletes are all still to be determined. But again, as we start to have our events look a little bit more normal, those aspects of the events will start to be included in that as well. All right, any questions on any of that before I get into the Colorful Summer Challenge? Awesome. Well, many of you, if hopefully you guys are all familiar with all of the wellness challenges that our health and wellness team has been putting together right now. It's the Sona Move Challenge, which I think we have close to 200 participants taking part in that. So that's been pretty amazing to get people up and moving. I know it's gotten me up and going more than I would have normally made time for. So hopefully that's worked out for your team as well. So the next exciting challenge we've got coming up is the Colorful Summer Challenge. It is a 6-week virtual offering focusing on eating healthy and having a colorful diet. Okay. So it's just kind of talking about how nutrition and healthy eating should be colorful and not very white with chicken and rice and boring vegetables. So you'll be able to learn about the importance of eating a colorful meal and the benefits of it as well. If you're wondering who can participate, this is open to everybody, athletes, families, community members, everyone who can participate. The registration will be open through June 25th. So that's exactly a month away. So mark your calendars for a month for June 14th to be able to sign up for the challenge as well. It's a self-led challenge and there are some virtual interactive activities as well. And here's the link down here to register. And the first 100 athletes to sign up will receive a toolkit to use on their journey to a colorful plate. Okay. Any questions on the Colorful Summer Challenge? Great. Next up, we have a health survey that we would love if you guys could share with your team. Our Healthy Athletes team really wants to offer the best quality of service we can. But in order to do that, we need a little bit of feedback from you guys. So this survey will really help us gain a better understanding of the services provided by healthcare professionals from the perspective of the athletes, which is why we're here and what we're trying to do. So our goal is to really use this information to develop and implement a health training for healthcare students and healthcare professionals moving forward so that that can improve the care overall for patients with intellectual disabilities. The survey is voluntary and you must be 18 years or older, and the first 100 athletes to complete this survey will receive a $5 gift card. So share it out with your athletes. They can sign up for this and they can sign up for the Colorful Summer Challenge. And there's all kinds of goodies coming your way. So please go ahead and share these items with your team. All right, next up, many of you participated last year in the plane pull. We will be having it again. This year it will be on August 28th and it will be back up in Broomfield. So please stay tuned for some information coming out on that. Get your teams together, get signed up. It's a good way to build some team bonding and just get everybody together to support Special Olympics. And next up, in case you have not heard, which I feel like most of you guys hopefully have, we are raffling off a Ford F-150 plus $15,000 in cash with all benefits, all proceeds benefiting Special Olympics Colorado. So go ahead and order today. You can go to unifiedraffle.com or there's a QR code down there in order to join in to win the truck. And there's also an early bird prize. So you have 1 month, again, 1 month until you can, while you're eligible for the early bird prize as well. Next up, the next piece I want to touch base a little bit on are the USA Games. So in June 5th through the 12th in 2022, we will be taking Team Colorado to Orlando, Florida. We will have close to 57 athletes and unified partners and 15 coaches. Coaches' applications were sent out with the due date of this Friday. However, we've decided to extend that date. I just want to make sure some of you guys as summer coaches might not have gotten that information. So I want to make sure that you've got plenty of time to fill that out and send that in. Here's a list of all the sports that we'll be taking athletes in. And I know the question is, how do we get athlete information? How do we get the athletes' applications? Things are looking a little different this year with COVID, so we are still determining that. And as soon as we have information on that and the athlete application, we will share that with you guys as well. Okay. I want to go ahead and just mention real quick that we do have a new series called I'm an Athlete. I'm going to show this video of Amanda Leonard if you haven't seen it at the end, but I do want to jump ahead and just say that we're super excited to be back in person with you guys this summer at events and all those pieces. And I would love to open up the floor now for any questions that maybe have not been answered in the call. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and hop in the chat or the Q&A, and I'll let Megan or Adrian, one of you guys, if you guys would be able to share that information and share the questions, any of the questions that would be relative for the whole group, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, one question just came up about coaches for a team being out of town for the August 7th Northeast State. Can you join another division or state competition? We've gotten that question a few times. Ideally, we want everyone to play within the region in which you're located. That's per our insurance, and again, Special Olympics International, more so trying to avoid overnight stays. But if that is not possible, absolutely work with Susan and your regional manager. We want to make sure everyone can compete. Also, Bella, we're excited. Bella will be singing the national anthem. And yeah, so I think those are the main questions, but keep them coming. And we are doing unified tennis. Let's come up. But any other questions, you can either put them in the chat or the Q&A.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hop over to show everybody the new video that we've got for our I Am an Athlete series. If you don't have any other questions, you want to hop off, you're more than welcome to. Thank you again for joining us tonight. We appreciate your time this evening. We appreciate your time in the season, and we're here for you to do what we can to make the season easier. We know we've added a few extra pieces that make things a little more challenging, but we are here to support you, and we want to be able to do that as best we can. So if you guys have any questions, please just go ahead and always reach out. Okay.
I am Amanda Meadows, and I'm an athlete, and I'm excited to be here. I've competed in 28 years. I do running, I do swimming, I do ski, I do golfing, I do volleyball. I want to meet more friends and tell them, hey, good job today. Keep going. I'm supporting you. And be a tournament. I say for ski because my dad is the awesome coach I have. He told me I am good athlete, and I'm good athlete. I have good attitude. Hey guys, let's go do this. I'm 90, let's go do this. Heck yes, let's go do this.
We moved here to Colorado in the late 90s, and I think the first team that she got involved with was actually a swim team. She'd been a big swimmer in North Carolina, and so we joined the swim team here. And through some folks on that team, we learned about the ski team. So we then sought out how we could join that team. And I grew up as a skier, and so I really saw it as a great opportunity to get my family up on the hill. And there was this Special Olympics ski team, which was just intriguing to me. So we joined. It was the Cherry Creek team, but it really saw the opportunity to really get involved and get my family out on the ski hill get Amanda out on skis, and she just took to it right away. It was just very exciting for me, and again, we haven't stopped since. I think Amanda just gets this great kick out of skiing, and I think her favorite saying is, "I smoked you, Dad." She loves to beat me down the hill, or try to beat me down the hill. A lot of times Amanda will say, "Dad, it's cold." And I'll say, "Okay, what are we gonna do?" And she'll say, "Look uphill." And I'll look uphill and she's gone. She takes off. So I think it's just, she loves being outdoors, loves being with other folks out there skiing, and again, loves beating me down the hill. Amanda, you ready?
Yes!
Turn early.
Turn early.
Now! Now!
I have two sisters, Sam and Alex, support me to ski and swimming.
Her sisters were into sports, soccer, swimming. They were wonderful role models for Amanda. Amanda saw them in the pool, saw them out on the soccer field, and just said, "That's what we do." And that's what she did. She went out there and competed, and I think always wanted to beat her sisters. And a lot of times she did, and still does.
The brother bus sisters, they're my bus sisters. And I have good family, and they give me support. I tell them thank you, and I love them because they're a good parents I have.
Well, I think Special Olympics has meant so much to our family. Again, you have a child with intellectual disabilities, and early on in life, you wonder, what's this going to be like? What is the future? And we were fortunate enough to find Special Olympics, and fortunate enough to move to Colorado and find Special Olympics Colorado. And I wouldn't say it has totally encased our life, but it has certainly pulled us in directions that we would never have gone before, and in positive directions. Special Olympics has certainly changed my life, has made me a better person, and I think kept our family headed in a very positive direction throughout all those years. I always think back, and I should try to not think about it, is what the doctor told us in the hospital when Amanda was born. Doctor looked at us and said, "You know, you don't have to take her home." And so I think about that over all these years and what she has accomplished and what she has meant to us. And I always want to go try to find that doctor and introduce him to Amanda and let him know what she has accomplished, and what she still has to accomplish the rest of her life.
I work in Burma restaurant, and I do serve the guests. I give them drinks. I give them food. That I carry the trays, give them foods, and tell them thank you for being here. Have a good day. Come back soon.
Yeah, Amanda has a great job at the Hyatt Regency Denver at the Colorado Convention Center. She works at one of the restaurants there, former Saint Craft Kitchen and Taps. I don't think there's many people at the hotel that don't know Amanda, don't know who she is. She's a little bit of a social butterfly. She's a little bit of a ambassador. I think she brings business into the hotel. I think she brings business into the restaurant or people back. We hear a lot of times from customers how wonderful it is that the Hyatt has somebody working for the restaurant, for the hotel with intellectual disabilities. Again, it's about opening eyes for individuals in the community. It's opening eyes of showing what is possible and dreaming about what is possible and not what is impossible.
I feel proud because I have a good boss I have. It's be Jim Stephen, Mary Kristen, and the bus.
A lot of times people like to look at individuals with intellectual disabilities or other disabilities and say what they can't do. And Amanda just proved over and over to us what she can do. There was never a time that we thought there was something that she couldn't achieve. And just every day she kept proving that to all of us in the family.
All right, I will go ahead and again, like I said, I'll stay on here for a few questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. I can, once I get the host powers back, I can unmute you to ask questions. But just reach out with anything. You guys all know how to get a hold of your regional managers. You guys all know how to get a hold of myself. Oops, sorry. I got into a basketball practice a little bit there.
Susan.
Sorry about that. Yep, so if you've got any questions, just let us know. Stay tuned for, there's a lot of great comments on the I Am an Athlete video. It was quite amazing. Stay tuned for more of those. It's an amazing series our marketing team is putting together. So there'll be more of those coming out to excite everybody and get everybody ready. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to stay on. If not, you know how to get a hold of all of us. We'll continue to be in touch with you guys. I think a big key this year is really communication. So if you can just communicate openly with us, we'll do the same with you, and we'll continue to move forward to have an amazing summer season. So thanks, everybody. All right, any other questions?
Susan, we got a question from Matt Havlin. Can the same coaches and partners participate in multiple practices at softball on the same day?
Yep, that'll be fine. We'll just, obviously asking that you guys are following all the safety protocols, kind of continuing to sanitize yourself in the best way possible, Matt, using the hand sanitizer, the wipes, and those pieces. But yeah, that's not a problem. Great. Well, if there isn't anything else, again, thank you so much for your time, everybody. We are very excited to see everybody and move forward with the summer season. So if there's nothing else to share, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting.
And just Susan, one question. We've actually gotten a few questions on the website for those that are still there. And if you have that question, we tried to make a website transfer last weekend. That didn't work. So the website ended up not being down. The plan is if we can make the transfer, it would be out of commission this weekend. If it does not work this weekend, we would wait until after the Western Slope State games. So we'll continue to keep everyone updated. But for now, and if it doesn't go down, it would, we'd be making the transfer, it'd be about 24 hours. but we'll keep everybody posted. Oh, hold on, Susan, I see one more Q&A. Oh, no, I think we're good.
Great. Awesome. Well, again, thanks everybody. You guys can all get back to your evening. It looks like someone has their hand up. Has that been addressed? Okay. Yes. No.
No, hold on one second. Sandra?
Okay, I got it.
There you go,
Sandra,
Sandra.
I think you should be able to talk now, Sandra. Can you hear us, Sandra? Did you have a question?
For the competition this next weekend?
Yep, for the competition on June 5th, we're gonna actually having a call next Wednesday, in the evening. If you've not got the link, I can go ahead and share that with you.
Okay. And then another thing I was wondering about, like on that, if we have extra family members, are they able to go with us? Or are we doing it kind of like we did at the other one where we go together as a group? To the
Similar, it'll be similar to that, correct? Yes,
So
but
if
we will
we-
not be allowing anyone on the track this time. So the spectator areas will be on the outside. Have
Just
you
go to that.
received the map and the schedule and everything that I had sent out?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'll double check to make sure that you are on my list, and I'll get all that stuff to you by tomorrow morning.
All right, that's fine. But it does start on June 5th, right? There's not going to, is there going to be a march in or lighting of the torch or anything like that?
Nope. So we are going to have a virtual opening ceremonies on June 4th. So you can tune into Facebook and YouTube to see that. And then we will not be having anything that morning just because not all the teams are going to be there at one time.
Right, right. Okay. All right, sounds good.
Great.
Thanks.
No problem. All right. All right. Looks like that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Again, thank you guys. If you have any other questions that pop up, please feel free to reach out to any of us and chat with us then. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.